The year was 1964. The date was December 21st. Horace Burns, a gunsmith from Harrisonburg, Virginia, had an experience he would never forget. Burns was driving along Route 250 near Staunton when he saw something incredible in the sky. It was a UFO. Burns described the object as massive. He estimated it to be 80 to 90 feet high and 125 feet in diameter. It glowed with a strange fluorescent light. The object was shaped like a beehive. It hovered silently in the air. Burns watched in disbelief as the object moved slowly across the highway. As it did, his car engine sputtered and died. The UFO landed in a nearby meadow. It rested there for what felt like an eternity, perhaps 60 to 90 seconds. Then, with a rush of air, it shot back into the sky. The object disappeared to the northeast. Burns was left stunned. He knew he had to tell someone what he had seen. Burns contacted Professor Ernest Gaiman. Gaiman was a professor at Eastern Mennonite College. He was known for his interest in unusual phenomena. Burns told Gaiman about his sighting. Gaiman was intrigued. He agreed to visit the site with Burns. The two men wanted to see if they could find any evidence of the strange craft. Gaiman brought along a Geiger counter. This device measures radiation levels. When they arrived at the meadow where Burns had seen the object land, the Geiger counter came alive. The needle jumped, indicating higher than normal levels of radiation. Gaiman was taken aback. Could this be a sign of the strange craft? To be sure, Gaiman invited two DuPont research engineers to the site, Harry Cook and Mr. Funk. These men were experienced in using radiation detection equipment. They confirmed Gaiman's findings. The radiation levels at the alleged landing site were significantly elevated. This was no ordinary event. Word of the strange event in Harrisonburg reached the U.S. Air Force. The Air Force had a special program called Project Blue Book. This program was tasked with investigating UFO sightings. On January 12, 1965, two Air Force investigators arrived in Harrisonburg. Technical Sergeant David Moody and Staff Sergeant Harold Jones were from Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. They were there to determine if the Harrisonburg incident posed a threat to national security. The Air Force investigators brought their own radiation detection equipment. They surveyed the area where Burns had seen the object land. However, their findings contradicted Gaiman's. They found no significant levels of radiation. The investigators also found no physical evidence of a landing. There were no indentations in the ground, no scorch marks, and no debris. The Harrisonburg UFO incident remains a puzzle to this day. Professor Gaiman stood by his findings. He pointed out that the Air Force's investigation was conducted weeks after the initial sighting. Snow had fallen in the meantime. This could have affected the radiation readings. Gaiman also questioned the Air Force's methods and equipment. He believed they were not thorough enough. Despite Gaiman's insistence, the Air Force closed the case. They concluded that there was no evidence to support Burns' claim of a UFO landing. The official explanation was that Burns had likely seen a weather balloon or some other conventional object. However, many people remained unconvinced. The Harrisonburg UFO incident became one of the most intriguing unsolved mysteries in the history of Project Blue Book. To this day, people still debate what really happened in that meadow in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Was it a genuine UFO sighting, or was there a more earthly explanation? The answer, like the object itself, remains elusive. As an investigator of the unexplained, I am drawn to cases like this. The Harrisonburg incident reminds us that there are still mysteries in this world that we may never fully understand.